Fantastic. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much. Just to start off, we'd like to know, who are you? What do you do professionally? And what is your connection to Project Humanities?
I'm Chantal Vanklompenburg. I have been a stay-at-home mom for the last 25 years, but I'm starting a new job on Monday, July 12th, as a student services specialist at the Maricopa Community College District. So I'm pretty excited. It's going to be full-time, and it's going to be my first time working full-time, so I'm pretty excited. And this is my husband.
Hi, I'm Steven Vanklompenburg. I'm a banker for a profession, been doing that for my whole adult life, right? I got familiar with Project Humanities several years ago. We did a Service Saturday outreach. One of our friends encouraged us to stop by, and so we did. That was early. It was a winter Saturday. It was cold. It was dark. We didn't know what to expect, but we went and felt very rewarded. And that was our first time doing it, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. So what initially got you interested in Project Humanities?
Pretty much my students at Chantal and Gilbert Community College about 4 years ago. Dr. Neil Lester had came to the campus, and he was a guest speaker, and some of my students were volunteering for their, I don't know, their classes or something like that. And they reach out to me because they know that I'm very involved in the community, and said, hey, want to go try this out? We carpool one morning, like Steven said here, one cold Saturday morning, and then ever since then we've been hooked. But that's how I got involved, because of the students, and then ever since now, I pretty much like to claim it as my own.
That's
and we're a duo, right?
Yeah.
We do things together. So I had the opportunity, right? It's easier to do nothing than something, right? But it's important to do something, and we felt right that we could make a difference. So
he's my Uber driver. So if he drives, I go, or else I will not drive on the freeway. But wherever he goes, I follow him. It might be the other way around.
Yeah.
But he's the driver.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys have a great connection to Project Humanities for sure, and community service and spreading the word through the community is fantastic. So going off of that a little bit, how has Project Humanities impacted you guys personally or professionally?
You want to start with that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So it's just, like I said, I mean, I didn't say this, but people are so appreciative of anything and everything we do for them at Project Humanities. So for me, right, it's made a difference. I've lived in, in pretty sheltered, unaware of what's going on with the rest of the world, right? And this opened my eyes to the challenges that some of the homeless folks, for example, are experiencing. And when we do a Service Saturday, that they're so appreciative, and they're so thoughtful and thankful for what we're doing. And to me, it makes me feel like, hey, it's not much that we're doing, but anything helps, right? And so for me, it's just rewarding, fulfilling personally, just for that reason alone. I mean, there's more that I get out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first one that comes to mind. Just sharing, just so little means so much to somebody.
Can you repeat the question for me?
Oh, no worries. How has Project Humanities impacted you personally or professionally?
Well, being an immigrant child, coming here 46 years ago, from a third world country and very poor, I knew that, and then growing up and being an adult and being married and having 4 children, I feel very privileged nowadays and very lucky that I want to give back to those who need us more, because, you're privileged and you have everything you ever need at the tip of your fingers, that, and if there are people out there who doesn't have that, why not give back? So it affected me both professionally and personally in a very good way.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Thank you guys both so much for that. And then have you felt that, you kind of mentioned this a little bit, that your perspectives have been changed or have developed as a result of, the events that you've done and the service that you've done with Project Humanities?
For sure. right? I mean, well, this whole pandemic is kind of help you prioritize things, but I appreciate what I have, and also just that whole world, right? I consider myself, a little more aware, more of an ally, for some of the people that don't have the voice or the needs or the resources that I just took for granted,
Um,
right? And so if I can share what I know,
Yeah.
it helps.
yeah. And sometimes if what you don't know, for example, I used to think, homeless people are just like druggies and all that, but it's far from it. There's elderlies who've lost their benefits and their housing and have nowhere to go. There are, even young folks, who have changed, transitioned themselves to another gender, or, being in the LGBTQ community, and their family and friends don't accept them. They have nowhere to go, so they become homeless. And so you have to be aware of just so many different factors that can happen to you within a second that can make you go homeless. And you can't just take advantage of that. And so it makes me more aware of the homeless community. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So then going off of that, like so those new ideas that you've been exposed to from Project Humanities, have you been able to kind of involve those in your life? How have you incorporated that into the way you live daily?
Well, just being aware, right, and being a voice
Mhm.
where it's needed, but also at work, right? I'm involved with, and this, I mean, we evolve as a whole community, right? But we have a diversity advisory group, talk about inclusion, and don't just assume someone else is kind of, their situation, right? You want to listen and hear what they're saying versus just assuming, someone's kind of like aligned with your ideals,
Mhm.
whatever they may be, right? Just kind of be more aware.
Yeah, be more aware and be more open-minded, and share the wealth of your knowledge, because like me, who been exposed to all different kind of things in the world, that there's some very people who are very sheltered, that don't know what's outside their box. And so you got to be the person who, just to what you call it, like, to show people, to tell people, that we need help in the community. Don't just be in your own little shelter world. So that's what we both like to do, a shout out, wherever we can, wherever we go, and talk to them about, just homelessness, and about Project Humanity and what Dr. Neil Lester do, more than just being a professor. But he's not just talking about it; he's doing the walk about it, and that's what we're both all about. We don't like just to talk about it. We love to do the walk. We love to get out there. We hands on. So I'm all about that.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. So what events or what experiences have resonated the most, if you want to share those with your time at Project Humanities?
Well, Service Saturday mostly, right? That's what we focus mostly on, right? But I recall actually a conference. It was pre-pandemic, so we all got together in a conference hall somewhere, and there was a bunch of tables, and there were so many different groups, right? And you go speak to whether it's the LGBTQ or atheism or different groups, right? And there was a couple of like experts, at each table, and you go around, and it's a very safe environment. You can ask questions, because sometimes if you don't know about another group, right, you can make a certain assumptions, and that's not good, right? So we had a chance to, hear them, ask questions. And like I said, it was a very safe environment. So that was an experience that I remember, right? So I take that with me just daily, and right, with social media, with just meeting or talking with your friends, right? You have this opportunity to, how you want to present yourself. And I just want to be, like I said, I think an ally, right? Honestly, I'm a middle-aged white banker, cis male gender, right? That's like, I feel pretty privileged, and for me just to kind of grab all that and not share it is not right. And so if I can be that voice that, to help somebody else, that's what I'm here for.
Allish, allyship, right? Is that the word,
Hmm.
honey? I love that, especially in this day and age right now. All the workshops that Project Humanity does is amazing. We went to majority of them, and like Stephen said, it makes us feel very inclusive.
Hmm.
And again, the Humanity 101 pledge, it's about listening, talking, communication, uh, self reflection. Trying to memorize it all, but so, empathy,
That's pretty good.
but happiness, I think, is one of them too.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just
Do you remember an event that you went to that made an impact on you?
um, every time I'm at Service Saturday, it's an impact to me. You know, I'm not a morning person, but like for example, this morning we set the alarm at 5:15 so I can get up and get my mass on. And but I must have slept so deep that it was 6:09 when he woke me up and said, "You still want to go?" Normally people roll over and say, "Yeah, I just don't feel like it," but I'm like, "Get up! It's better late than never." And showing up. And so I'm glad we did because today we didn't have very many volunteers, and because of the pandemic, that people are slowly showing back in. But you asked me what's the most impact to me is just showing up to Service Saturday or sorting Fridays is the most impact. I tell everybody every time, if you go to one of these Service Saturday or go to one of, I think Service Saturday is more impactful. Your heart would just like explode, and I'm just so excited that every year, every so many months, that I'm able to shout out there and touch somebody's heart for them to kind of follow me and do this Service Saturday or be part of Project Humanity and stuff. So, and I'm very proud to say that I got a couple founders a couple weeks ago too. So, you know, uh, I'm still working on more for Dr. Neil Lester, but Service Saturday is the most impactful. Even all his other workshops is great and it's amazing, but Service Saturday is the most impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for giving back to the community in the way that you do and really, really being there to support Project Humanities. It's fantastic to hear about that. I'm curious, how long have you guys been with Project Humanities?
Over 3 years?
More than that.
Yeah. It's
At least 5.
yeah, at least 5 because I stopped
Yeah.
working at Chandler Gilbert about 4 years ago. So
We were doing it
5,
before
yeah,
that, huh?
about 5.
Mhm.
I think about 5.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. How have you seen Project Humanities grow? Because you guys are veterans of Project Humanities. How have you seen it change and grow?
Uh, how do you see it grown? Um, I love, well, Dr. Neil Lester called me a connector.
Mm.
And so what I love doing is connecting Project Humanity and him into other communities, even though it's a ASU Project Humanity, and then we serve mainly the homeless downtown Phoenix, but it's in the West Valley too, it's in the East Valley too. And so I think it's grown, all over the valley.
Yeah, it's a bigger outreach. For example, not just on those every other Saturday, but if someone has a need, right, we have the connections to find, whether it's water bottles, diapers, clothing. There's other resources that Project Humanities is connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's we've seen the growth. And actually, I have to shout out to her. Chantal's made a lot of those connections, but that's the growth we've seen, from our perspective. Now, also, I know the class and the whole online,
Hackathon.
well, partly through the pandemic, but still, right? It's good that the ability to reach out to so many people, not just here in the Valley, for example, but some of those online classes have reached so far, and you get a wealth of information that people are able to join. So I've kind of seen that growth too. And then the hackathon, I was a judge last year, and that was quite an experience. That was a unique experience. People are so smart, right? And I was just like, holy cow, that I hadn't even. I'm glad people are thinking of these things, right? So I've seen that growth too, but I haven't been part of that hackathon for a few years. It's mostly that, the giving on Saturdays and Fridays. So.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. I agree. Definitely seeing how many people show up to events and everything like that, you see the growth, you see the reach. And I always feel really inspired by that personally as well. So kind of going off of that, why and how might the work of Project Humanities continue to speak to what's happening in our communities, not only locally, but also globally, and as well as in the city?
Well, just more people get impacted by it, right? They're going to spread the word. I mean, just wearing your Project Humanities T-shirt around the world, right? And I know sometimes we take photos of it, just lends you that opportunity to talk about it. And so that's the thing with any group, right? I mean, if it's a continuing, ongoing organization, you're going to have more members, and as they may mature, move on, get a job, leave the state or something like that, it's still within them, right? It's still within their mind, within their heart. And so just that growth alone, right? Just the people are, continue to share it.
What was the question again?
No worries. Why and how might Project Humanities continue to speak to what's happening in our communities, both locally and globally?
Well, he's my information guy. He knows everything, I think. Like Stephen said, we're the richest nation, and we shouldn't have homeless. And then just the other day, I was watching the news. They say up in Colorado, they started like a camp, for the homeless, and they set up tents. They have cots in them, and so they start a program making sure that they're trained for something, that they have shower, and that looking for jobs and all that. So, like I said, sometimes being homeless is not a choice, and you just need that help to get started back into society. And as a city, as human, as privileged people, we should be able to help them with that, And so I think, the more we know, the more ally we have, then the more help we can get to these homeless, and starting out with young ones like you, And that's the amazing thing, is that you're interning, and your knowledge now that it's amazing. Because we were just talking to Dr. Neil Lester an hour ago, and it was such a hard day for him today because of humid and everything, and we didn't have enough volunteers and stuff. And he said, "Oh my God, it's such a bad day." And then this young man who was under 18, he told his mom and he told his grandpa, who they are a regular volunteers, and say, "I want to become founders." And that made his day. And he said, "I can't give up now." So that made my heart melt for him to say that too. For some, it's exciting for me to see young ones who are learning and who are being having this awareness at a young age, and that you guys can make an impact and do something for the future, and we're learning.
It's never too late,
and it's never too
to learn
late.
and to grow and
But
to share it.
If we're learning and it's still where it is, then hopefully you're learning now, and the young man that was learning today, that you guys will be the bigger impact and really will be the one that makes that difference. Say, "Hey, I got an idea, let's do this," And so I'm excited for the future, for things to happen, but it's one step at a time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's really, really inspiring. And because I promised I wouldn't keep you guys for forever.
No worries. We love talking about Project Humanity.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have one last question for you guys. Is there anything that you want to share? Is there any experience? Is there anything that you want to talk about? Any message you want to get across?
Keep on doing what you do. Get the voice out there to the young ones. You know, Project Humanity is more than just about homelessness. You know, it's about you know, talking and listening and communicating and self-reflection and all that, and just be the change that you want to change in this world. You know, and we got to make a difference every day.
Right. Right. Who can top that? Right. But humanity, right? I mean, this is what we're all about. We get about our day, and we worry about dinners and meals and our jobs, but just making that connection, learn something from somebody. Right. And that's what inspires me. And that, I mean, it's someone that you may not normally be within your circle, whether it's coworkers or friends or people you grew up with, right? But they can together. We're just so much better than being adversaries. And so that ally, I know I said it already, but that's what makes me most proud, because maybe I have a voice where somebody else hasn't, and use it. So I mean, there's so many experiences. It's so rewarding to do Project Humanities events. And I know I said, we focus a lot on the Service Saturday because that's immediately impactful. I mean, the second you're doing it, you feel so good. And that 2 hours goes by just so quick, right? Because you're connecting with people, and just for not, just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
But it's so impactful.
And they're part of the human race, and we got to
Mhm.
treat them with dignity and respect too,
Mhm.
They don't want to be treated any less. And it's not like they want to be there, They're a hardship, and where they're at it's hard for them. And if we can show them some dignity and give them some time and and show them some respect, and that they are human too, just like us. So it's important to give yourself um, to the community and serve like that. And we feel very honored to be part of this team.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for sitting down and talking with me. I know that I was inspired listening to everything that you guys do and everything that you have to say. And I know that when everyone watches the testimonial, they're going to feel the same way. So thank you guys so much for sitting down with me. We do want to let you know that we have an event next week on decriminalizing drugs. We'd love to see you guys there. And we're, of course, going to be really happy to see you at Service Saturdays as well. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Sophia.
See ya. Have a great day. Bye-bye.